Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing Little Caesars deep dish pizza. How are you guys doing? I hope everybody's doing well. I've been doing great. So far so good. But let's get started. These are some big pieces. My husband's with me today. He's just sitting beside me. He doesn't want to be on camera yet. And he made sure I wasn't going to put him on camera because he took his hat off. Well, if it'll come apart, we might get started. We're down here in the park today, listening to the geese and the ducks. Down here in our local park, they're used to people feeding them, so they start surrounding your car. If we get a big enough group of them over here, I'll show you guys. So I promised in my last video that I would answer a question regarding my mom and my sisters. So I'm going to touch on that today. My mother had me when she was 18 years old. I was at her high school graduation. She ultimately was a single mom. Excuse me, let me take a drink. And she had me and my two sisters. Well, two of my sisters, Katie and Michelle. And we lived with her predominantly our whole life. My mother had issues with substance abuse later on in my childhood. But she was in some really abusive relationships that trickled down to her children. She wasn't aware of the abuse, but things were hidden from her. You okay? There were periods where we lived with my grandparents. Two amazing human beings. My grandma's gone now. My grandpa's still alive and well. He's remarried and lives in a different state. He's doing great. I'm really happy for him. His health is good, and I love that man to pieces. He's like the best father figure I had, because mine was not in the picture. But anyway, Mom struggled as a single mom, no child support, to raise us 3 girls. But because of some of her lifestyle choices and the way they affected me, we didn't have a good relationship as I got older. And then she turned to drugs as a coping mechanism. I don't agree with drug addiction and people's thoughts on it necessarily, but I do get it to an extent. I know that drug addiction is a disease, but I personally believe it's a disease by choice, because you do make that choice to use that drug in the first place. You do take that drink. You make that choice. You know, some people don't choose to have cancer, kidney disease, kidney failure, stuff like that. But I do understand the biological aspect of it, and I know it's controversial, and I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings or anything like that. I do recognize it. I do understand it, but it is a choice that someone has made to start with. My mom and I parted ways very shortly after I graduated high school. She has been sober now for almost 16 years. So I'm very proud of her for that. She got sober. I always tell it like this. She wasn't the greatest mom, but she is one hell of a grandma. She has become an amazing mother to me and my sisters now. But she had her own demons to fight, her own issues to battle. And I'm not here to judge anyone. Not even my own mother. And I hope that when she comes on here, she doesn't get judgment either. Because she has come a very, very long way. And I'm very proud of her for that. We still have our moments where we don't always get along. And I think that's with any parent-child relationship. You just have those moments, but sometimes ours are pretty bad. I had to learn through therapy how to forgive her. And it took a really long time. She's never forgiven herself. For what happened to us kids while in her care and out of her care. It's something she lives with every day. I have 4 sisters. Katie and I do not get along, so I will not be discussing anything about her, because she will not be on here to defend herself. So it's best to leave that one at that. My sister Michelle is in active addiction. She has 3 beautiful children that addiction has taken her away from. Oh, tornado siren going off. They do that every once in a while here to test them. Goodness, I'm getting this all over myself. Anyway. She's a beautiful woman. She does have a good heart. She's just not my sister anymore, in the sense that she's not who I remember her to be. I love her, and I hope one day she gets sober and comes around, because the one thing about Michelle in active addiction is she leaves the family behind. She doesn't bum money. She doesn't steal from us. She just leaves us alone. So, I'm not saying that makes her better than anyone else. I'm just saying that's how she is. I have a half sister named Alex. We have different mothers, same father. We didn't grow up when we were younger together and be super close until we got older. Now I can tell her anything. but it was for the best. She has an amazing mom, an amazing adoptive father. She's successful in what she does for work. She has a good life and we have a good relationship. I feel like her and my stepsister are really two incredible people. Kendra is my stepsister, but we're sisters. You can't tell us we're stepsisters, if that makes any sense. We did grow up together for a good portion of Kendra's childhood. And then I left and went my own way. Kendra and I reunited 4 years ago. Right after I met my husband. She has a beautiful son and another child on the way. She's beyond successful. And Kendra and Alex are the ones I can go to and depend on. They're the ones that, out of my sisters, I know are there for me. Solid. They're very solid people. There were good times growing up. We were all together, went to the same schools, did things after school together, four-wheeling, horseback riding, all kinds of things. But as we grew up, we all moved on and did our own thing, different things. But at the end of the day, if anything were to happen to the others, good terms or not, we would still try and be there for each other. We grew up very poor. Very poor. Like, so poor, when you got headlights, you had to put kerosene on your head poor. I don't know if a lot of people did that, but I know we did back in the holler, because we lived in something called a holler. We lived in a trailer in the holler that had no running water and no bathroom, so we bathed in the creek and used an outhouse. I'm not ashamed of it. I know a lot of people my age haven't had to do that, but I did. And it was fun. Except wintertime. That was a little rough. Growing up and living with my grandparents, though, at certain times, were some of the best times of my life. My grandma was an angel on earth. She really was. Strict, but sweet as pie. Everybody loved her. And she always made sure we had. She spoiled us rotten. All of us. So did Grandpa. I got closer with my grandpa after my memo passed. Grandpa was a very stern man. Not a lot of conversation. We didn't have a lot in common. But after Grandma passed, I would go out and help my aunt, just bringing meals, things like that, talk to him, just be there. And then he would go to work with me when I drove for the cab company. And he would ride around with me and talk to the patrons, and he loved it. It got him out of the house. And yes, that old man would ride around with me from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. He loved it. And people loved him. They always asked where Pap was. He became like our cab mascot. It was really funny. And now that I don't work at the cab company anymore, in the next couple videos, I'll tell a few stories of my cab adventures. Very, very interesting. Good times, good times. I mean, there's the sirens again. I mean, there were some bad times, some rough moments, but driving cab was fun. And during that time, I made really good money at it. I am really making a mess here, people. I'm gonna have to go home and change before we do anything else. Went and got my nails done today. Went to a different nail lady. Her name's Mariah. She's really good. Got a pedicure too. It was a wonderful experience. It was very personable. And the salon was beautiful. Although I was nervous because I'm a really big girl. And the pedicure stations, the chairs, were up on blocks. Like, not blocks. It was this other flooring, and there was these really pretty blocks that held it up, and I'm a big girl, so I was like, am I gonna break through the floor? Because it looked a little questionable for somebody my size, but as soon as I stood on it, it was so sturdy. The chairs were comfortable, and Mariah made me feel amazing. Even held my hand while I stepped up on it to make sure I was comfortable. But yeah, that's about it about my family growing up. I'll tell little stories here and there, but that's the gist of it. It wasn't the greatest at all. But, sorry, my husband's phone rang. But anyway, I'm going to end this here. I'm full. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload. And if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot them in the comments here or on Instagram or Facebook. But I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.